The Eastern men's lacrosse team is off to a solid start, their record currently sitting at 3-1. And joining me here now on this edition of Coach's Corner is the head coach of the Eastern men's lacrosse team, Marc. Coach, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Tyler. I've been looking forward to my interview.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate the time today. Coach, your team's at a record of 3-1 right now. And so kind of a two-part question for the first one. First, how great does it feel to finally be back out on the field, and what has stood out to you most over these first 4 games?
I mean, just having the opportunity to play has been a blessing. I mean, I know there are other teams even now in the country that have not had the opportunity to return to the field. So the fact that Eastern has shown us such great support here as an athletic program, but certainly as men's lacrosse team, the ability to start practice right away in February and be able to go full, where some teams are still returning to full contact right now and haven't played in a game yet. We are really appreciative of all the work that Eastern and Lori Runksmeyer as the athletic director have done to support our program. And being back on the field is awesome. This is what I do, and this is what I've chosen to do for a career. And to be able to not do that for nearly a year has been very difficult. And just an opportunity to be back amongst the guys all the time and be working together to, get better every day has been great.
I want to ask you about the last time we saw your team in action against Plymouth State. You held Plymouth State without a goal for the first 12 minutes of that game, and then for 26 minutes later on, goalie Jack Farrell had 11 saves in that game. Talk to me about the defensive side of the game for your team this year, being anchored by a guy like Farrell.
I mean, our defense starts with Jack. I mean, to be able to have a fifth-year guy who comes back, Jack was really disappointed, got off to a great start last year in 2020, supposed to be his senior campaign, was really on fire with goalie of the week, awards early in the season. And, to have it all taken away left a bad taste for him. So we're lucky that he chose to come back this semester and rejoin the program. And having Jack in there coming from, Stratford High School and from a great club program, the Team CT. And not only is Jack a great player, but he's almost like a coach on the field. He has some experience coaching with Team CT, and he really runs our goalies. And so it's been a huge advantage, not just on game day, but every day to have Jack in there. And he has played amazing. Just earned his second goalie of the week award this past week for that effort in the Plymouth game. And we're pretty excited about what he can help to lead us to moving forward.
So kind of from the defensive side of the game to the offensive side of the game, your team leads the league in goals per game, averaging 9.75 in each of the 4 matchups so far. And it looks like those are coming from a number of different options, number of different players on your team. So you talk about that balanced offensive attack for your team also this season.
Yeah, well, one of the things every team that I've ever coached on has been about, we score, not I score. And so our guys learn to share the ball. It makes it really difficult to scout a team when you look down and you see 6 guys who have man-up goals, and you see, 8 guys who have scored goals in the season. And so, when you're a coach and you're scouting a game and you see one guy who has 40 and one guy who has 20 and then 3 guys who have 10, makes it pretty easy to find your matchups and see which guys you want to take out of the game. But when you're distributing the ball as well as we have, it makes it really tough. And the other advantage is that, while we do have some leadership, we have really 2 seniors on our offense, in Jake Leibowitz, who's been amongst our leading scorers since I got here in 2019, and Tyler Stein, who's a guy who's just done it all for us this year. He is a dominant face-off guy at like 64% from the X, was a very good defensive midfielder for us over the last 2 years. And this year, because we lost a few guys, we asked him to step in on offense, and he hasn't missed a beat. He's a guy who's amongst our leading goal scorers, and at 200-plus pounds, he's a tough matchup. But we have a number of young freshmen who are filling major roles, and a guy like Shane Haggerty, who, even though he's a sophomore, he's now a veteran on this team, and is amongst our leading scorers from that left side. And so those freshmen don't feel that weight of having to be the guy who has to get 3 and 4 goals in a game. They know that their 1 or 2 or their assists are all going to chip into our success. And really, it all starts with my assistant coaches who have done such a great job working with the offense. We have Eric Johnson, who's been with us since the fall in his debut college coaching, and he's really done an excellent job with the offense. He relates well to the guys. He's got a great demeanor. He's got a really good teaching style that helps these guys to understand and grasp the concept. And he's got a lot of great ideas. He and I work pretty regularly in the office, bouncing back and forth some ideas. And then we get some amazing ideas from a veteran that we've been very fortunate to add to our staff, Rick McCarthy, who was the founder of this program and who we now play on a field named after, has come back and helped us this spring, and it has been awesome. You know, Rick's a guy that I've been friends with, and I felt like he's been somewhat of a mentor to me over the last 20 years of my coaching career. And to be able to have him on the sidelines and to be able to, you know, while it was a scrimmage, we played Suffolk Community on Rick McCarthy Field, and we got that win for him, and we got a great picture under the scoreboard. And we are looking forward to getting some more wins with Rick by our side. And so, you know, there's a guy who has literally seen it all in this game and has an answer to just about every situation. So I think just like we ask our offense and our defense to work together with teamwork, I think our coaching staff has really worked well together. And it's been really exciting and a lot of fun.
So looking at the schedule, you matched up with Plymouth State on the road last Saturday, and then looking, your next game is going to be this Saturday at home against Plymouth State. Can you talk to me about the uniqueness of this season with a schedule like that and what someone perceives as a challenge matching up the same team twice in 7 days?
It really is crazy. I mean, our national coaches convention this year for the IMLCA, the theme was adapt, and we had several coaches that came on, Division I coaches, professional coaches that came on, and they talked about that. You know, how this season is going to be all about adapting. Except for the first 2 games, I don't think we've had the same starting lineup in any of our 4 games. In 5 if you include the scrimmage we had with Suffolk Community. And so that's it. We've just continued to put people in different positions. We have Sean Anderson that I recruited here as a long stick midi. We switched him to short stick midi, and he started at attack for us in 2 different games and has 3 goals. And so, but that's been what we've had to do. We talked about that right at the beginning. It's going to take some adaptation. It's going to take some flexibility, and it's going to take some commitment to fill some different roles if we're going to be successful. And so far, guys have answered the call when we've asked them. Every single one of our midfielders has either played down at attack at one time or another in practice or in a game. And so that's just it. We're trying to fit the best 10 onto the field at any one time, and our guys are doing a really good job at adapting.
So you talked about that message of adapting. What's your message to your team as you look to continue that momentum, winning those 3 games and your first 4? What's the message heading forward to continue that momentum?
Well, I think we've got to stay on the path. I mean, when you look at our defense, I talked a lot about Jack, but, we have some tremendous athletes. Our defense, we're not giving up that low of goals and only 2 goals to a team like Plymouth State just because Jack's in the goal. We have some amazing athletic defenders that are doing such a good job of playing team defense. When we struggled a little bit against Roger Williams, it was transition. We made some mistakes in the offensive end, and those turned into transition on the defensive end. And those are tough to stop against any good team. But when we get into the 6v6, we're pretty tough to get goals against. And so, we've got guys like senior captain Ty Copy, who has been getting it done. Another guy who got off to a tremendous start last year and I thought was going to be a solid candidate for, first team all conference defender. And he's picked right up where he's left off. And then, we have some very athletic sophomores. And that's the thing is, besides Jack and Tyler, we have no other seniors on our defensive side. So we're very young. The rest of the guys are sophomores and a couple of freshmen that are fitting in there and filling the starting roles. Guys like Ryan Stocks and Grant Spencer down at close defense. Another guy, Jesse Marys, that we recruited as a goalie and has switched over to defense, has really stepped up in that role. And then we have a guy like Dom Scarano at long stick midi, who, he is a very, very tough defender, and he's a tough guy to get away from. And he really, kind of instigates our team defense because guys are often running away from him and then putting themselves into tough situations. And we've been able to then you put Jack in the goal, and that's what really makes it tough. And so I think just like we talked about on offense, our defense is the same way, being adaptable. We've got, like I said, guys like Jesse, guys like Phil Robideau, who's a freshman, guys like Nick Danifelser, who's a freshman, coming in off the bench. In Plymouth, we went 2-man down with 2 starting long poles who were in the box with their penalties, and we've got 2 freshmen out there helping us to kill a 2-man down penalty. Jack makes a great save. We get the ball cleared. And, I mean, you look out there and you say, man, this is pretty exciting. And so I think that's just the key is stick together, keep working hard every day in practice, continue to gain in confidence. And our young guys are having the advantage of being to learn while doing instead of learn while watching. And I think it's just really going to be great for our future, not next year, not 2 years from now. I'm talking about right now as we get into the tough stretch of our Little East schedule.
Coach, thank you for taking time, and good luck Saturday and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you much. Tyler, you and your crew do a great job, and we really appreciate that everything you do for the athletics here at Eastern. So keep it up.
We appreciate that, Coach. Thank you. And everybody can see the men's lacrosse team in action Saturday at 2 p.m. against Plymouth State here at home. You can see that game streaming live on littleeast.tv/Eastern